Yeah, it's live.
The legends, those who paved our way. In every single chapter, we're here to stay, breaking down plays.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Chasing the Highlights podcast. My name is Lonnie Washington, and I'm in Arizona, and I'm here with my co-host, Tony Robinson. He's in Texas. And Tony, man, we're coming on at a good time. A lot of things going on in the world of sports, especially, the NBA Finals starting on Wednesday. But let's first start with some of the big happenings of the last day or so with your guy, Myles Garrett being traded for Jared Verse to the LA Rams. Is shocked the NFL world, and probably one of the most historic trades that I think that I can think of. And it was just totally wild. I mean, I think I texted you a couple of weeks ago saying that Myles Garrett was not in the voluntary OTAs. He hadn't met the coach personally yet, and you didn't seem really worried at all. And I said, well, it could be something there. You guys didn't retain his defensive coordinator as the head coach, and also you're starting to look at the quarterback battle, and his guy is he likes Sanders. But it looks like Watson could be possibly winning that battle. And I'm not sure if that had anything to do with this trade. But, Myles Garrett had a no trade clause, which meant that he had to sign off on any trade that the Cleveland Browns wanted to do. And it seemed like, he said it's time to get the hell out of Dodge. And that's what he did. He seemed very happy in his press conference this afternoon or this evening or wherever you are. He seemed pretty happy with the coach and everything during the press conference. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I want to get your take on this, and then I'll go after that. But you being a Cleveland Browns fan and being from Cleveland, 46 years as a fan, and you see basically, I mean, this equivalent to Michael Jordan being traded, because he is a Hall of Famer, one of the best pass rushers in NFL history, and he broke the sack record last year with 23 sacks. But he decided to vacate the premises. And now he's out there with LeBron James out in LA. What do you think about this, my friend?
Yeah, okay. I see what you did there. Well, I don't, like I told you before, I feel like I didn't think it was going to be an issue. But at the same time, when you look at the big scram for the Cleveland Browns fans, this is how we look at it right now. This is what we've been talking about, all the podcasts that I've seen, other people's podcasts and stuff like that. They're saying that this is a good trade for our future. When you look at it on paper, when you look at, you got a Verse, Jared Verse doing his thing, and he's pretty much a rookie. He was a rookie of the year. He's from Canton. He's coming back home. He's doing all this stuff, coming back home and everything. And the Rams pretty much see him as a first-round pick. So that's why we couldn't get just 2 first-round picks. We got, 1 pick plus the Jared Verse plus, other picks and stuff like that. So I feel like once we come to the situation where we get all these guys together, the defense is going to still be solidified. That's what I believe. I feel like nothing else is going to happen where, where we just drop off substantially because of Myles Garrett is gone. And the thing about it is, I posted something on TikTok about this, about how he's 30 years old. Most high elite defensive ends, they only last like 9 years or so, right? He's on the down tail of his career, so he has the win now. So that's why I feel like the Browns actually looked out for him by sending him to the Rams, a team that he wanted to go to. Obviously, he had a no trade clause, but he went to a team that actually, was able to hold. I mean, he's going to a team that almost won a Super Bowl. They could have won a Super Bowl again, but they just got knocked out. But they just retooled it with the Rams by getting him and stuff like that. And like they're just getting a whole bunch of good guys, and like they look really dangerous right now. So I don't know what to say about that. But the Browns, to speak on the Browns, I feel like we're just building up a young core of defensive players with all the acquisitions we had in the draft and free agency already and stuff like that. I feel like we're gonna be a force to be reckoned with. Maybe not this coming year, but the next year and the year after that. So I don't know what the plan is moving forward with the quarterbacks, but I see everybody saying Shador should get the opportunity and not give Watson another opportunity because we've been giving him so many opportunities. But the only thing I could think of that we would kind of allow to happen, because he actually has looked out for us to give us extra cap space here and there, throughout the years that he was injured and stuff like that. He actually, restructured his contract to give us room for money and stuff like that. So I think they might try to look out for him in that way, but I don't know for sure though. I don't know what. Oh, it looks like he dropped off again. Let me close this out.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. We are back. We had some technical difficulties, but Tony was talking some good things about why he thought Myles Garrett, uh, the Myles Garrett trade was a pretty decent trade for Cleveland, right, Tony?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my stuff set back up because it kind of kicked me all the way out. So
It's
bear with me a little bit. Yeah. Hey, back
Yeah,
at it.
so sorry about that. So Tony, you were talking about the Myles Garrett trade and things of that nature, and how you felt about Myles Garrett. I believe most of the live caught what you were saying. You want to continue on that track?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just feel like I don't feel like it's a total bad movie. I was surprised that it happened because like we you said you told me that you saw some smoke and stuff like that, and where there's smoke there's fire. But I feel like we actually made this trade for our future because we're trying to move towards our future, and getting a younger pass rusher that's not, that was like 10 pressures off of what Myles Garrett has done in the last, I guess it was last year, last 2 years, or whatever it was. Like he was
Yeah,
like ten pressures off. So it's not like he's really a good versus a really good pass rusher. So
yeah.
and he's from Canton, Ohio, hour or so away from Cleveland. I played basketball there when I played in the ABA and stuff like that. So I know exactly where it's at. And I feel like he's a hometown kid. It's like, he understands the Cleveland Browns culture. Myles Garrett doesn't really. When we brought him in, he was green. He's just new to the NFL and stuff like that. I think he grew to love it a little bit, but at the same time he didn't like it. Because I'm sure he probably wanted to be in Dallas. Because he's from Texas here. He's from here in Texas where I'm at. And being in LA is a nice. Who don't want to go to LA?
Oh yeah,
I really feel like we looked out for him because we sent him to a place where he can win a Super Bowl now, potentially. So I know we're not going to be in the hunt for a Super Bowl or anything that in anytime soon. So I feel like we actually looked out for him because he did so many good things for us, for the Browns, like getting a sack record here, just doing all the stuff that he did. We're not going to talk about the other off the field stuff with the tickets and stuff like that. But
oh, you going in? You going in? You
no,
turning hostile witness now. You treating Myles Garrett like a hostile witness now. I mean,
oh
what's
no,
going on?
no, we love Myles Garrett. He was a great player for the team and stuff like that. But I feel like he's the ops now, but I feel like the team we have right now is going to still be good. I don't think we're going to have a big drop off because Verse is going to be he's going to try to come in there and be the leader that they traded for. They traded for him. He's going to try to make it work. So we just got to get our quarterback situation going. I mean, they need to decide on like Shador or Watson. That's the thing. Other people are saying like don't even give Watson a chance because we trying to move forward past him because he's not the future. He only got 1 year left, so why would you give him another shot? Because it doesn't. I
Right,
mean, that's the way we look at it. It doesn't make sense because he's going to leave anyway. He's not going to stay here. So why would you give Watson another shot to prove himself when he's not even going to be with us next year? Just let him.
right.
Just let him sit to the side or like let him release him or do whatever you got going to do. Just let Shador just take over because he's the future.
Yeah.
So
I mean, all right. I mean, I get it, but
yeah.
over the last 9 years, Myles Garrett recorded 125 and a half sacks, right? Sack record last year. 58 and 90 with one tie was the record when in Myles Garrett's tenure with the Browns. And as phenomenal as he is, I believe that he deserved to go somewhere to try to win a championship. He only had 3 playoff appearances, during his 9-year tenure with the Browns, and he had 6 tackles and just 1 sack in those playoff appearances. So he was bad during the playoff times. And so,
Double
him
team.
moving, yeah, I mean, him moving to LA, he's going to a team that has had, 7 playoff appearances in that same tenure that he's been with the Browns, 10 playoff wins, and a Super Bowl title. And And so what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, Myles Garrett gave all that he could to a team that for 9 years just totally was just a total loss, right? And then he had to look at them giving Watson all this money ahead of him when he was the face of the franchise, and you got a guy that never gave any sweat, blood, and tears come in and get this $230 million contract, and then Myles Garrett had to look at that, and then uh, not seeing Watson actually perform and actually get injured and play and all those different things, of course, before he got his money the last year. And then he said, all right, you gave me $40 million a year, so I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. But, Adam Schefter did report this morning that he saw that some GMs called him when Myles Garrett decided to restructure his contract before the league year started, and having all his bonuses and roster bonuses and things like that allocated not in March, but towards the beginning of the regular season. And so they said that signaled that when he was traded, that any team that took him on at that point, meaning now the LA Rams, would have to now pay him those roster bonuses and his salary for this upcoming season and moving forward. And so of course he had this no trade clause that he had to go in, and he had to say, I don't want to be traded to just anybody. So he had the leverage in this whole deal. And then, of course, Myles Garrett has ties to LA because his father's from LA. All right. A lot of people didn't know that either. And plus, now he's got this new love in his life. The two-time Olympic gold medalist, Chloe Kim. Okay, she's from LA too. Right. A lot of people didn't know that. So, of course, she's a superstar, legendary Team USA snowboarder. And, they have the most incredible relationship. And, they've been the kind of the power couple over the last year since they went public with their relationship. They've seen everywhere at venues, games, basketball games, different venues and things of that nature. And so when in the press conference today, he actually said, I feel real happy now because I'm closer to her because she's from LA. So it just made sense. Now he feels at home. He's going to go up and paint the town. I have no idea. He's going to paint the town now because now his woman is there. His dad is from LA. He feels now that he's got, some recognition now. You got the Rams being on TV 7 times this year, prime time, where if you haven't really been able to see Myles Garrett play consistently because he was in in Cleveland, a smaller market, now he's going to be on TV all the time. So I say it's really good for Myles Garrett, and I feel sorry for Jared Verse. This guy, poor Jared Verse. Now they switch roles. Okay, he's going to a team that is not very good. They're not projected to be very good this year. Maybe in the middle of the pack this year. Maybe not even missing the playoffs even. They still have quarterback issues. So he goes to, on the flip side of that, a championship caliber team to go into Cleveland to play with that team that don't have a quarterback yet, can't figure things out. And so now you got Jared Verse. I mean, he was all giggles and smiles and everything because he's going to get paid. All right, because he's going to get paid. Right, he might get close to $35-40 million contract too. But what he needs to do is get his money and get the heck out of Cleveland. That's what he really needs to do. He needs to force his way out of Cleveland somehow, and it might take him 1 or 2 seasons to figure it out that this is a road to nowhere. I went playing with Matthew Stafford, the MVP quarterback, and just missing the chance to go to the Super Bowl. Now I'm at a team that's actually rebuilding with a quarterback that's not defined yet. So to me, Jared Verse is in a bad situation. You can talk about he's from the area, he's from Cleveland, he's from this and he's from that, but that ain't going to fly. Anybody that is traded to Cleveland or Miami for that factor, they don't have a chance to actually go out there and actually make the playoffs. And so now they just switch roles. And once a player like a Jared Verse caliber player, right, a Pro Bowl player, he gets there, and now he has a taste of winning. And now he has to get thrown into the Cleveland market where he might have to go through some pain, 3-4 years of pain. How is that a good thing for Jared Verse? So he got the short end of the stick. I think he's going to get his money. But in the long run, I think if you want to get the bag and win, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that in Cleveland, and it's just going to be a bad situation for Jared Verse.
Well, being from the Cleveland area, I'm sure he's a Browns fan. So I look at this as like the LeBron going to Miami to learn how to win, coming back to Cleveland, bringing that championship pedigree. I feel like Verse is going to get bring that same what he did with the Rams and bring it to Cleveland. It's going to be the same thing. I don't think it's going to be a step missed, and he's going to make the defense way better because we have a lot of guys that's been waiting to get their opportunity to be the man instead of just everything going through Myles Garrett. Now they can run some different schemes, and I don't know. You never know what can happen. Like you say that we're going to be in the bottom of the pack, but you're not talking about your Commanders. Your Commanders going to be in the bottom of the pack.
Okay, we'll see. I don't think so. We get a healthy Jaden Daniels. I think we're going to be good. I think we're going to be good. And not to mention, y'all do got the easiest schedule in the NFL this season.
Yeah, we got the easiest. We making the playoffs.
So I don't want to hear nothing. When this season starts come November, hit and the things are starting heating up and all that stuff, and I look and I see the record of the Cleveland Browns, because we're going to be talking about them because there's going to be some quarterback things going on. It's going to be either good, bad, or ugly. And you don't have a true leader. Who's a true leader of the Cleveland Browns right now? You got rid of your captain and an all-world defensive player. Who takes the reins now of the player that's going to step up and be the captain and the leader of that football team? They were 5-12 last year. They hadn't done anything since Myles Garrett's been there. And now you think that big vacuum is going to have to be filled with somebody.
They're molding the quarterback to be the lead. And we're going to be doing this a lot more often. It's going to be a lot of this and a lot of touchdowns. And we're going to see, like you saying this, but we're going to see because they're molding the quarterback to be the leader because of how he carries himself. They're trying to change the whole team chemistry. They don't want anybody there that don't want to be there. So kick rocks, whatever you're going to do. But we trying to build something here with this new coach. This new coach has a mentality that I like that we've never had since Belichick. So I feel like we're good. So we'll see.
You got a lot of draft capital. You have a lot of draft capital. Oh, yeah. So that's one good thing. You can go out and get your quarterback next year when this whole quarterback experiment fail. If it fails, you guys can go out and get a good quarterback for next season. You got 2 number 1 draft picks again. You guys are going to slowly turn over this roster and get a younger team, hopefully. But without the quarterback, we know that you need a quarterback to win in this league, and I don't think you guys are there yet. Your best bet is for Watson or somebody to emerge as that dude. And if you don't, you got enough draft capital to go and try to get somebody into college ranks. But it's still, even when you get a young quarterback from college, there's still some growing pains. So I'm not quite sure that I see anything out there in the future that's going to get you guys be a perennial playoff team. I mean,
Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders.
I'm not sure about that. It could be. All right. So, in Cleveland in the news, I mean, you guys are becoming, I think I told you this, Tony, you guys are kind of becoming Dallas Cowboys of the AFC. Cowboys now, always in the news for the wrong reasons. Cleveland and the Cavaliers, historic loss in the playoffs just a couple of weeks ago, the Cavs. Okay. The Browns quarterback battle, as I just kind of talked about, and now Myles Garrett trade. So, the Cleveland Browns, they're going to get a lot of revenue because every time somebody talks about Cleveland, they're going to get some media revenue. But for the overall Cleveland fan, now seeing this happen, it all transpire usually, within the last couple of weeks. As a Cleveland fan, just the Cavs fan and being the Browns fans and all those things, I mean, what do you really think that the Cleveland? I mean, you have your ear to the ground. What do you think that the Cleveland fans are thinking now? They're seeing all this going. Are they saying, man, the Cavs have no shot, or the Cavs are going to reload? Because the draft is coming up and free agency is about to start. What does a Cavs fan like you and a Cleveland fan of all sports say right now?
Well, for me, for the Cavs, the main thing I want to see, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking for a lot of stuff that I've seen about the Cavs and the Browns and stuff like that. So, but for me, I want to see a 41-year-old Brown come back to Cleveland, and any kind of way he can get back. Like that's what I want to see, because he can teach them how to win, because these guys we have right now don't know how to win. They disappear. They have a history of disappearing in the playoffs. And I like the 2 players, but like I spoke him up, like, you know, before when Harden came, I was like, oh, this dude about to be nasty. I was hyping him up, and then he just pulled the carpet from underneath my feet. I was like, really, you just did the same thing you did from, you know, past teams. I was speaking him up, like I was like gassing him up. And it's like this dude didn't do anything. I'm like, what
Nothing.
is he doing? He couldn't
Zero.
make a shot, couldn't play defense, but it's a part of coaching too. It's not all on him. I'm not gonna put it all on him, but the coaching was bad too.
Mm-hmm.
And other players like disappeared and stuff like that. But we have a good nucleus of players. It's just we need that dude. Just he's not gonna play 82 games in the season. We just need him to play those games, meaningful games to get us to the playoffs, and then he plays in the playoffs. He shows up. So whatever they got to do to get that done, I'm sure they're working on something. They working all the different angles to get like a Giannis or like whatever they're gonna do. I don't know if they're gonna get Giannis because I think Giannis want to go to Miami or to Golden State. You know, he'll be better suited in other places to me because he wants to get out of a small market and go to a big
Mm-hmm.
market, I'm sure. But with the Browns, with the quarterback battle, I feel like a lot of people, like I said, they're tired of hearing about Watson. I was listening to a podcast earlier about it. They said if he's going to be leaving next year, and I like Watson. Don't get me wrong. It's just he showed us year in and year out OTAs when he's in these tight shorts and tight shirt, just throwing the ball around. Nobody's chasing him. Nobody ain't no pads on. He shows us that he is that dude in OTAs, but when put the pads on, I don't know. But the different scheme, I don't know if the different scheme will be better for him. So that's what's hard to like say. Don't give him an opportunity, but he's not going to stay with us next year. I believe he's not going to be in Cleveland. So it's like, what's the point in seeing what he has if he's going next year?
Right.
You might as well just keep riding on with Shador. Shador won the last two season games against division rivals. Just roll that over to the next season. Let him be the QB1. Have Watson sit behind him. What you call it? Kirk Cousins did it in Atlanta. He lost his
Yeah.
spot, and then he got it back. If it happens that way, it happens that way. But I'd rather see Shador start the season because I want to keep that last year going into this year and see what we have for our future. Because if he's not the guy, then we have to know that too. We have to know Shador now. But I'm sure, but we still need to give him a couple years to develop because we have a history of the grass is green on the other side mentality. It's a grass is always greener with the Cleveland Browns. They're always looking for the quarterback coming in a draft. What other quarterback we can get? Like we're in high school or coaching a college team. Like college teams and high school teams do that. They don't. In the NFL, you need to get your main guy. You can't keep looking towards the draft if you're trying to succeed. In NFL, you have to have your guy.
Yeah.
All the good teams in the NFL have their guy. So you can't keep going in the draft constantly. I've been saying this for the last 3 years about my team. Like I know like what they do. Like all the fans do this. The media puts it out there. It's like we got to stop looking in the draft all the time. We have our guy. Just let's develop him. Now we have a potential developing coach that can develop quarterbacks. So we'll see how this goes moving forward.
Well, I hope you're right. I mean, one of the good things that the Cleveland fans have to look forward to, if it's not the football team, it's the brand new stadium that's opened up in 2029. And so hopefully that all pans out for the Cleveland Browns. But I'm sure to be continued. We'll be talking about that soon. But we got other news too. That was the only trade that happened in NFL. You had AJ Brown traded to the New England Patriots for a 2028 first round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick. This is actually a really good deal where you're kind of deferring that first round pick and you get a chance to get a all world wide receiver. I mean, you're going to partner him with a team last year with a young quarterback, Drake May, who is ascending. He is there. He was second or third in the voting for MVP, but Matthew Stafford deserved it, of course. But Drake May is right there. Now you get him a guy that can win one-on-one. I think Drake May's problem last year is that anytime that he was faced with man coverage, his quarterback rating was in the toilet. And you see that with young quarterbacks, the man-to-man coverage, the tighter windows that you got to throw to. It takes a while to actually be able to trust your wide receiver, be able to have that confidence to throw in those tight windows when there's man coverage. And so teams just play them in man. When they played Drake May in man coverage, they had the most success. But now he's got a guy that will win. He can throw over the top with an accurate ball deep, and then AJ Brown's gonna go get it. And also, all the other receivers that they got, there in New England. So they're building something there with this trade, as long as Mike Vrabel don't mess it up. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. He has to make sure that his team stays together and he keeps his head in the game, right? We're talking about this one. And then to make sure that he gets this team on the right track, because the Patriots are here, right? They're a year ahead of schedule, but now everybody's going to be gunning for the Patriots. Buffalo made some strides and stuff to get better, but I think that this is New England's division to lose. Now adding a piece like an AJ Brown for that team, but I think that it's going to be really, really good for AJ Brown, the New England Patriots. This is something that everybody expected, and I think that overall the Patriots win here with getting a guy like AJ Brown. What do you think about it, Tony?
Well, like I told you earlier, Coach McDaniel had another receiver in Randy Moss that he brought in, or the Belichick era brought in, and you saw what he did. They almost went undefeated in that season, bringing, so Coach McDaniels know how to get top receivers the ball. So,
yes.
and they know they know he wants the ball. So I expect him in fantasy to go off, because I'm definitely looking to pick him up. So, because he's a big body. He can go across the middle. He can go deep. So many different things they can do with him. And same thing they did with Randy Moss. So McDaniels is coaching. He's the offensive coordinator. So I feel like he's going to be doing the same kind of thing to get him involved in the offense. And now the quarterback has Drake May has a number one receiver now that he can actually throw the ball to, that's going to go get it and whatever. So I think that's a good pickup for the Patriots. So be on the lookout.
Yeah, well, hopefully they give him the ball, because we'll see what happens when AJ Brown don't get the ball. I mean, he's on the sideline reading books, and he's doing all kinds of antics and all those different things, and that was a big falling out. Now he's got a guy that he believes has an elite arm. When I saw him in OTAs today, when he arrived in the building, he was businesslike, happy, chipper. He still said that it was kind of surreal to him that he's there, and he was out there, catching passes with all the other players, and that he's already feel like he's a part of the team, and he's going to wear number one, I think, this year on his jersey. And so, and so I think it's a good pickup. I like the pickup. But you know what? Really, what I really like, and we could even go back to, what teams do you think that are happy that they don't have to see AJ Brown anymore in their division? Right,
your team,
the Washington Commanders, the Dallas Cowboys, and the New York Giants, buddy. We happy that AJ Brown is gone. He's torched every team in the NFC over his 4-year tenure with the Eagles, and we are happy to see he's gone. Period. And we also, at the end of the day, anytime you get rid of a good player out of the division, now everybody's got to step up. Right, everybody's got to step up now for the Eagles. We're going to really see what Hurts is all about, and we're going to really see too whether Devontae Smith is a legit number one receiver. So, my question to you, Tony: do you believe that Devontae Smith is a number one receiver?
Well, you got to watch out for the guy they recruit. They just drafted in Tyson. As long as he can stay on the field, you might have to watch out for him. Nobody's really talking about that. They went out and got him in the draft for a reason, because they knew they were going to get rid of AJ Brown. So they went and got a top receiver, but he has to be able to stay on the field because he has an injury history. So, but Devontae Smith, I feel like he can be legit because he did it in Alabama. Even though this is the NFL, guys are bigger, stronger, faster, but he's shown Devontae Smith, he showed that he can play. He's not no slouch. It's just that he had to deal with 100 and something targets going to his counterpart in AJ Brown, and other receivers too. So now you got 100 and some targets that's going to be going to him. in a season. So that can boost him up to like being a wide receiver one easily.
Yeah.
It's just can he,
He's a
can he,
slender guy. He's not that tall.
yeah.
He's tall, but he's not that. He's only about
I mean,
175
Randy
pounds,
Moss was
180
slender.
pounds.
Randy Moss was slender. He wasn't like jacked, so Jerry Rice was a little slender, but not saying he's those players, but I'm just saying like they're both small guys, I mean, I don't know, but
Yeah. Well, whether he's a number one receiver or not, we'll see. Because when you got somebody paying a lot of attention to AJ Brown, and now he's not there anymore, and they start rolling double coverage to you, can you still make the play? Can you still make the play if you're double covered? And we're going to see fairly easily there whether people are going to be able to cover him and roll coverage onto that side. Are the others going to be able to make plays on that during the games?
Well, I think the quarterback play has to be a little better. Like I feel like he's going to run a lot more. Like because I think he stopped running. He didn't want to run the ball. They say because like the first 3 years he would like run over 150 times in the season,
Mm-hmm.
but he scaled back over the last couple years. I don't know if he doesn't want to take big hits anymore. But Hurts I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
I feel like if he runs the ball more and Saquon run, they got that two-headed monster in the backfield and like running the ball with the quarterback, I feel like it'll open up the receivers potentially because you can't really double when you have a running game going really well. They don't got to worry about throwing the ball at AJ Brown, crying and stuff like that. So, and we don't know about Tyson, and
Right.
they brought what's his name, the tight end. They brought him back for a 1-year contract too. So he
I
might
mean, they
he
got
might be,
Hollywood Brown, don't they? Did Hollywood
yeah,
Brown go to the
Hollywood
Eagles? Yeah.
Brown, but what's his name? Yeah, the tight end is going to get some more receptions because he was going off in fantasy anyway. I feel like he's going to get more targets that's going
They
to be
got
out there
Wicks
too.
too. They got
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
You
they got
never
a lot
know,
of
like
guys. They got
yeah.
a lot of wide receivers to try to cover up that production that AJ Brown have, and so it's more better. But going back to Devontae Smith and put a bow on that, despite splitting targets with Brown, Smith had quietly recorded 3 1,000-yard seasons in his first
Yeah.
5 years in the league.
Mhm.
Even during uneven seasons in 2025, Eagles offensive campaign, he still had 77 receptions and 1,008 yards receiving the 4 touchdowns last season. So he has the production to be a number one receiver. It's whether or not is he going to be that 1A receiver that AJ Brown was, or he's still going to stay in that 1B role. Because some guys, they still stay in that 1B role, and that's all they can do. Is he going to be that receiver that is feared no matter what, or people are going to be able to stop him when they roll coverage on? And that's really all I'm saying. I hope he does not become a number one receiver because my Commanders are in the same division as him. I hope they fall flat on their face. I hope Devontae Smith falls flat on his face trying to be the number one receiver, and that they'll be missing AJ Brown come mid-season because of his production.
But the biggest question is, will they play a lot better without AJ Brown there at receiver? Because a lot of times the team kind of like try to force feed him a lot because he's complaining and stuff like that. And it could have threw the offense off. We don't know that. Like it could have been like it could be a point where they play on all cylinders again, like they did when they won a Super Bowl that Super Bowl year. They may be way
Yeah.
better with him gone because they don't have to deal with
Yeah.
the antics or whatever. So
Yeah, so we'll see how that pans out, but we're gonna change gears here and talk about the Spurs game 7 win over OKC, 111 to 103, and Chet Holmgren collapsed with only 4 points and 4 rebounds. And we know this series was just an awesome series. If you're an NBA fan and you was able to see this series pan out and you saw this game, you didn't, after game 5, you were thinking that the Spurs were done. You thought that OKC has 2 chances to close it out, going to play them in San Antonio, and if that failed, that they were going to come back and win at home. But instead, the Spurs went in there and took the last 2 games, beating OKC, beat them up pretty bad. All right, SGA, he had 35 points, but he didn't have anybody else to come to the party with him. Of course, everybody's going to talk about everybody was, people were hurt, and if they didn't, if they weren't hurt, if Williams wasn't hurt, if Mitchell wasn't hurt, could it have been a different series? I don't think so. I really don't know, man, because I think that overall that the Spurs proved that they are here now. Wemby proved that he is here now. You have Vassell. You had Harper, Dylan Harper. You had Fox coming. They coming, and they actually just took the heart right out of it. And when you got a Chet Holmgren who's 7'1", who only attempted like 3 shots or 4 shots the whole game. And then he was just running, and then he was just running from Wemby, act like he was scared. Just you might as well just sort of sat on the bench. Chet Holmgren became the first player in NBA playoff history to attempt 2 or less shots while playing over 30 minutes in a game 7. Holmgren didn't even attempt a single shot in the final 31 minutes of the game. So you tell me this is a guy that you gave an extension to, $200 million, $40 million a year, and this guy just went and sat, basically ran into, the crowd and sat front row and watched his team get their head beat in and lose on game 7. And so now the question is that where do we go from here? What do you think about this game? When you saw this game and you saw that the Spurs won, what were your thoughts about looking at this game overall and seeing the OKC get bounced?
I felt bad for SGA because he did all he could. It still comes down to what if Williams was there. We can't do anything about it now, but if Williams was there, I think it would have been a different series because that's 26 plus points that you're missing out on. He can score 30 a night if he really put his mind.
And his D is good.
Yeah,
his D up.
Pause. Pause.
Yeah.
No, you don't know what I'm talking. Pause. Anyway.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
He kind of like, if he was there, I think the whole league would have been, the whole series would have been different. But Chet Holmgren, he disappeared, and like you said, but the thing about it is he was scared of Wemby. You can tell, like he wasn't like Wemby went in there to take his heart. Like that's how I was trained. Like I told you before, and that's how we were trained in Cleveland to play, take somebody's heart, and that's what Wemby did. He's like, I'm not letting you get over on me again like 4 or 5 years ago. We're not doing that again. So he came into this game like, I'm wiping you out. Like they are actually down in the series, and they came back and won the whole thing because Wemby's like, his mental fortitude and like just his love for the game, the passion for the game. I think he's bringing the NBA back because a lot of these guys don't have the mentality of Wemby.
Yeah,
because the European game is totally different than the AAU circuit and all this stuff here. They don't get to play with pro athletes at 14. So they start at 14 playing pro basketball, getting beat up by grown men. Then they come into the league and they're wondering why like all these European players are playing so good because they have the mental fortitude. Like they've been through the grind already. These kids now that on these teams like Chet, they went through the AAU circuit and stuff like that, but they never played pro at this level. And, that's what it is anyway. But that's a long story with that. But I feel like that's what it comes down to win in game 7 like he did, and nobody else showed up, because these guys aren't ready for the big time yet. The backups anyway is what I'm talking about, the backups. Because when he has all his pieces, when SGA has Williams, when Williams there, maybe Chet Holmgren plays better. Maybe Mitchell. If Mitchell was there too, Mitchell. I forgot about Mitchell. Mitchell wasn't there. If those two guys are there, Chet Holmgren plays better. I see that because
there's no excuse for him at all. I mean, well, when you start looking at just the landscape of what the Spurs bought, and you're looking at how you lost the series of your OKC, you're saying to yourself, man, we're going to have to deal with Wemby possibly for the next 10 years. If he stays healthy and his knees stay healthy and all that stuff, all things being what it is, are you saying, all right, well, we're going to chalk this up to just, a couple of players that we really, really needed to play didn't play, and just kind of ride with the same guys from this year, including Chet, or are you going to go out and get a guy like Giannis and say, hey, we need a dog. We need a dog that is just an old school dog that can go in there and bang in the middle with power. He can play defense and he can shoot the mid-range jumper, and then sometimes he can shoot the three every once in a while. But then he can run fast breaks. He can handle the ball. He's got handle. Maybe he's a shy under 7 foot, but the boy is still powerful, strong, a former MVP, a former champion. Okay, NBA champion that can go up against a young 7'4" Wemby and can do it. Now, a lot of people saying, well, you know what? Because they do have a lot of assets that they can give away to get Giannis, but Giannis has to come in and understand that this is SGA's team. And do you mess up the chemistry of the team? I don't really think so, because I think they both professionals. I think Giannis understands hard work. He respects the grind of SGA and OKC, and he know that the coach is no nonsense and that he wants to win another title. But I think that if you're really looking at what OKC should do, of course, they should go and they should get him and they should find a way to move Chet, because Chet, every time that he goes against Wemby, he's going to shrink like he's 5'11" and not 7'1" like he is. And Chet is skinny. Right, you got a Giannis that can come in there and bang. He's just the dog. He's coming down the court full steam, heading for the basket. He's going to get to the foul line, and he's going to bring a lot of toughness to that team. So I think that it makes sense. Everybody's talking about it, but they're saying, no, maybe he should go to the Golden State Warriors, but he's probably not going to go there. They might talk about Miami Heat. You know what? That's cool too. But I think if he has a chance to go to OKC, I think that's a good home for him.
Yeah, I can see that. If you keep the pieces that they already have, like Mitchell, Williams, SGA, obviously, they're gonna have to give up something else. But I feel like it could be a good thing.
Would they take Chet? Would they take Chet and some more draft picks or no? Because remember, Chet doesn't have to deal with Wemby in the Eastern Conference.
Well, the thing about it is, like I think I told you this before, I feel like OKC is still. So the Spurs, when they constructed the Spurs to beat OKC, because it seemed like everybody is like aligned with the players from OKC. So if OKC wants to compete against the Spurs, I feel like they have to keep most of their guys that they have, and bringing a Giannis in kind of. I don't know, because then he don't have to bring his brothers in, all 50 of his brothers coming through. But if that's what it takes to get Giannis, I guess that's what it takes. But I feel like that's going. I don't know.
You're going to give up some assets, but they have a ton of assets. And people don't understand that OKC has a 12th overall pick this year in the first round and in the next upcoming weeks. And they also have a number 17th overall pick. So they got a 12th and a 17th.
They deep, man.
They got some firepower.
He's the man. That boy is the man.
Yeah, he's the man. And so I think this is to be continued. We got to talk about the Spurs and Knicks. All right, now I remember saying that if the only chance that the Knicks had is if they played the Spurs because of inexperience of the Spurs team, but seeing some of these young players play the way they did the last couple of games to snatch the heart out of the OKC team, I'm not sure if I want to reconsider what my comments were. And now that you get a Wemby, and now you've got an injury, with the Knicks. What is it?
No, you can't use that now.
You got a pinky injury there, right? So so now I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna really go on this one, but I think it's gonna be a great series tomorrow night. The series start on ABC 8:30 Eastern, and I'm gonna be in front of my TV. I'm in the Pacific time zone for a few more for some months now. So I'm gonna watch this game, and I think that I want to see the matchups. because the Knicks have been blowing people out. You know, they got like a 260 point differential. You know, one of the biggest point differentials in playoff history, and now they're going up against a team that plays defense. Okay, this team got after SGA. They were all over the court. These young guns, Castle and everybody came to play. And I want to see Castle has locked up Brunson in the games that they have played. And so, so it's going to be interesting. And Castle locked up SGA to a degree. But that Castle Brunson matchup is going to be huge, because now if Brunson doesn't score, and they're going to have to get a lot of scoring from Cat, where they're not going to be able to go. And remember, Wemby doesn't just guard one player. I mean, he guards all 5 players, because his wingspan is such that if he's at the foul line and anybody comes through the paint from the edges or the wings, he can get over there and block a shot. It's going to be like a no-fly zone. This alien is something else. I've seen him just, be at the 3-point line and like in 2 or 3 steps, just come out and just swat people's stuff out the air. So are people just going to run through the lane and not even bother hitting the little floaters or things of that nature? And he's gonna make them make shots on the outside. That's what Wemby's going to do, and that's what he's done doing this playoffs run. And so I don't know what to say, man. I think that who do you think? What do you think the Knicks have to do to win this series going up against the Spurs?
Well, I had the Spurs winning, or if the Knicks in that scenario you gave on the last podcast, I had the Spurs winning. So I didn't have the Knicks winning, because I know with Wemby, if Wemby goes in, I mean, I had them winning against OKC. I had my proof. I don't know if you can see this.
I can't see it
on Couchy. I won that bet. So I've been saying it since two podcasts ago, but I actually won that bet. I lost the Cavs, but I won that one. But with this scenario, I feel like they, like you said, Vassell, I think they're gonna throw a lot at Brunson that he hasn't seen. He's gonna get taken away, and it's gonna be up to Cat Williams. Or I said Cat Williams. It's gonna be up to Cat to actually do his thing. If he can't do his thing, they lose. If Cat doesn't score, because I think Wemby's gonna take him away. I don't think the only way you can probably get Wemby out of the paint, Cat has to be at 3-point line. You have to space the floor out. You got to try to pull him out, but then I would think the Spurs will put somebody else on him on the perimeter and let Wemby just roam in the middle, because they won't be able to penetrate and pitch like they usually do, or like, because Brunson likes to get to a spot and like just shoot that runner or like the fadeaway shot or whatever. But just like SGA, if Wemby's around in that paint, you can't do your shot. You got to shoot them threes. You got to stay on the outside. So I feel like that's the only way the New York Knicks can win this game or win this series. They have to get Wemby in foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go at him. Like Cat has to go at him, like get into his body. But
you're forgetting about OG Anunoby. He's going to be key too. OG, I think, is going to be guarding Wemby. He's kind of a big body. He's a former champion. He's got the championship pedigree. I think he's going to try to be that one, like Caruso was against Wemby. And I think he's going to try to wear him down, get him tired, get him playing both sides of the floor. And I think McBride and Bridges going to have a good series shooting from the outside. And I think that, this could be a big defensive battle too. Both of them play really tough defense.
Yeah, they're both. The Spurs are pretty tall guys, and they play defense. It's like 6'6" through 6'9". They're pretty sized, but I think the Knicks are a little shorter, so I feel like that's going to hurt them playing against the Spurs. I mean, you got Wemby just like just 7'4" or whatever, 7'5". So it's like I don't know. I just think the size is going to get to the Knicks. But if they hit buckets like they've been doing, I mean, it's kind of hard to, because you can't go off of what they did in the season. They did
best 3-point shooting team in the playoffs. The Knicks.
But when you basing like we talked about this on the last couple of podcasts ago or whatever, like you said, it's based on like the season they actually did well against the Spurs. They beat them or whatever like that. But the Spurs are in the playoffs is a little different. Like with Wemby, if he keeps his same mentality of like
and intensity,
Yeah, if he keeps that, like channeling that, channel that they beat your butt in a season.
Yep.
They beat like 3-1 or whatever it was. They beat them.
The
Uh,
cup, yeah, the
yeah,
championship cup.
yeah. Channel that. If you channel that and like this is the finals. You don't need to channel anything. You trying to win.
Yeah.
You don't need much bulletin board material for the finals. You just need to go win. That's pretty much what it is. Just win, baby.
Yeah, and you got home court advantage too. The Spurs do, and I think that I'm excited for this series. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
great. And the Stephen A. Smith, the Go New York, Go New York, Go. He's playing that 24/7 round the clock. And it's like uh, New York, the city of New York needs something, right? They haven't had anything happen, in a
Man,
while.
they got so
For
much
years. Since the
stuff,
New York
man.
Giants won in 2011, they haven't had nothing going on, right? The Spurs is a young team. We're going to see whether their inexperience shows in this series. I'm not quite confident that it will. I think that I think that the Spurs is probably going to win the championship, and unfortunately, I don't think the
Oh,
Knicks. It'll be
you
another
switching. Oh, he's switching now.
53 years. I'm switching up. I think that the Spurs showed me a lot, and I got to give much respect to the Spurs, even though New York did their thing in this playoffs. But I don't know, brother. I'm picking the Spurs.
I got the Spurs.
Yeah, got the Spurs at 6.
Clean sweep. I got them. Shoot.
I don't know if
I
it's
think
gonna
they
be a
can
clean
sweep them.
sweep though.
I think they can
I
sweep
mean,
them. But
I don't know.
for NBA purposes, they want to make more money, so they want it. Might I go 5, a gentleman's sweep.
A gentleman sweep. I mean, it could be a gentleman sweep. I think it's going to be a 6 games. I think the New York Knicks is not going to go out without a fight, and I think that Coach Brown, remember he was on the staff of the Spurs, so he kind of might have some insight to some of these players and how they and how to beat them.
Coach Brown, Chris Brown, D Brown. Spurs and 6, Spurs and 5. Spurs and 5.
All right, partner. Anything else on the docket tonight?
No, I'm just excited. My son got his first place in all of his swim meets this past weekend,
Yeah, that was awesome.
and he's ranked number 1 in like all short course races for lifetime where the team he's on and everything. So he's doing really good. I'm just we talked about this other day or today or whatever,
Yeah,
about just having just the proud dad moments and stuff like that. So it
yeah.
just, I just get excited about it. So
It's good, man. I mean, when you have a son that is doing the things that your son is doing at a young age,
yeah,
and he's ambitious and he likes what he does. He's having fun, and that's the biggest thing. What at this age, it's you want him to win, but you also want him to enjoy what they're doing and have some fun. Seem like he's having a good time. You're having a good time. Your wife's having a good time being able to see him grow.
yeah,
And like again, he's only 10 years old. I mean, he's got 2, 3, 4, 5 years now to kind of grow into his body, and he's going to continue to grow. He's going to be tall. But from what you posted online, man, and I saw his meet, he's out there just having fun, and it's coming natural now. It's just like he's
yeah.
just a natural in the water, which you don't really see that at a young age.
Yeah, he's just putting in all the work. I mean, a lot of like I think I told you about this. One of the grandparents of one of the swimmers that he went against came to me and was like, "Oh, is he actually 10?" I was like, "Yeah, he just put in the work." They don't, and they swim at the same place that we swim at, but they don't see
Hmm.
the work. Like he's in dry land working out and doing weights and stuff like that. He's in the pool 4 days a week. He's just
Right.
doing a lot of stuff to make sure we have to like coach him through that too, because there's some days he don't want to be there. He want to be playing with his friends and stuff like that.
Hmm.
We get that, but
Wants to be a
at
kid.
the same thing, our job as parents, because we're both coaches. My wife was a coach, I was a coach.
Hmm.
We have to instill in him like the right way to do things. We can't just let him just give up.
Yep.
Because it won't set him up for the future. We have to make sure that he stays in the right order and stuff like that, and not stray away and just give up on things, right? So That's the main thing. It's a proud moment because just the time that when he started, and then sometimes he wanted to give up, and then he just kept going and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, good parents and things, and I think it's good you and your wife are good parents, and I think that he's gonna do well now. Whether he sticks with the swim or he goes into the basketball thing or something
Yeah.
else. That's he's still young, so
Yeah.
man, good seeing it, man, and thanks for joining us tonight on the Takes and Highlight podcast. We had a little bit technical difficulties early on, but we got it all straightened out. And watch the playoffs. To tomorrow night. Excuse me, the finals tomorrow night. We'll be back next week to talk about everything sports. And I'm Lonnie Washington from Arizona, and Tony Robinson. He's in Texas. Good night, everybody.
Come alive, 2X players in the studio, ready to thrive. Friends and fans, uniting with the truth, sharing the passion. Yeah, that's our proof. Chasing the highlights, where dreams come alive. 2X players in the studio, ready to thrive. Friends and fans, united with the truth, sharing the passion. Yeah, that's our proof. We treasure the legends, those who paved our way in every single chapter.